How many of you watched the final episode of Blue Therapy? Hi! Are you okay? Are you still alive? Guys, that episode sent me on a crazy roller coaster of emotions. Yesterday, I wasn't myself. I was angry. I was upset. I was crying whilst Chioma was talking. I was so livid, like guys, my body was shaking. I was hyperventilating whilst Deborah was upset at Jamal. Guys, I was just completely filled with rage. I have never carried someone else's relationship on my head the way I carried those two women's relationship on my head last night. You remember the way Helen was upset in Diary of a Mad Black Woman? Hey God, guys, that was the same kind of rage I felt yesterday. Like, okay, some men has come. I swear down, some men has come. The fun part of last night's episode was when Mr. Did I stutter? He started to stutter. He could not talk. Like, cats cut his tongue. His tongue was tied. He was tongue-tied. He could not talk. And I'm like, look at you little... You see, the final episode was an episode of revelations. A lot of clarity was given. The lines started falling in pleasant places. Guys, okay, let's start with Chioma and Paul's story. So apparently, all this built up tension between Chioma and Paul, or the main reason why Chioma has been really agitated, defensive, and extreme, very, outspoken, vocal, assertive, is because of an age-old long hurt that had happened between herself and Paul. So apparently 8 months ago, or if you want to do the calculations properly, 2 months before Chioma and Paul moved in together and started living together, they had a situation. So the situation was Chioma had gotten pregnant and Paul had strongly insisted on Chioma doing an abortion. Now, according to Chioma, in her family, there is a long line of history that the women in her family find it extremely difficult to get pregnant. Like it's an almost never to happen situation. And so when any of them gets pregnant, it's a thing of joy. So Chioma was really scared at that time and really wanted to keep the pregnancy. But according to Paul, he was not ready to be a father. And he even went as far as threatening Chioma that if she went ahead to keep the pregnancy and eventually had the baby, he was afraid that he would not be there for both of them as he wasn't ready to be a father. Now guys, Paul also went ahead to encourage or push Chioma or set pressure on Chioma that he doesn't mind paying for the bills, taking her there for the procedure, waiting for her to be done and bringing her back home. Like, this guy was fully invested in that decision not to be a father 8 months ago. Now, according to Chioma, because she was really scared of being a single mom, she was raised by both parents and her parents are still together. She's from a family of no breakup, no divorce and stuff like that. She was afraid of being a single mother, and so she was also afraid of losing Paul. So she went ahead and did the abortion. And ever since they did it, they never ever had the conversation. Paul never raised up the issue. They never even talked about it. And they had been living in the same house for over 6 freaking months. Now, as Chioma was giving that revelation, I started casting my mind back on Paul's attitude from episode 1. The part where he was saying that, he wasn't sure that Chioma was ready to be a mother. The part where he was always supporting his sister, that Chioma should babysit her sister's kids. The part where his sister was being very rude and very negative towards Chioma, and even saying that Chioma could not take care of kids, Chioma would not be a good mother, and then she would still dump her kids with Chioma, and then Paul would still take his sister's side. Guys, all those things started coming back to me, and I was just so upset. At some point, I was wishing I was in that room with them. Let me pull that guy's beard, like I want to drag his beard. I was so upset. I am aware that a lot of people are going to be watching this right now, and then they'll be arguing that, hey, it takes two to tango. If Chioma knew that her family had a history of struggling with having kids, why did she go ahead to indulge Paul by having an abortion? And then some other people will, just keep on arguing like that. But guys, listen, at the point where Chioma said those things, some part of me was blaming Chioma that, listen, girl, you are a big girl. You're possibly up to 30. You should, in fact, you're an adult. You are the writer of your choices. You are the writer of your destiny in some way. If a man is telling you that, oh, if you have this kid, I'm not going to be with you, and you're already an independent woman, you're from a family that is presumably comfortable, and you are fully aware of your family's struggles with childbearing, or child conceiving and probably childbirth, why did you go ahead to indulge Paul? You've always known that this guy is very, very selfish, very, very egoistic. Why did you go ahead to indulge him? So me too, I had the same argument in my mind. I was really, really upset with Chioma at that point in time. However, if you look at it from another angle, you will see a woman who has gotten so fully invested in the relationship that in her mind, oh, I've been with this guy for up to 2 years plus. If he doesn't stay with me, maybe no other man would accept me. And that is where the problem of how Paul has made Chioma shrink extremely from the strong, independent woman that she is to nothing. I mean, guys, it just became very, very clear, because for a woman to subject her mind to, oh my God, if this man does not take care of me and my pregnancy and my baby when I give birth to the baby, then oh my God, I will not be wholesome anymore. I will not be myself anymore. Guys, it can only brew from how Paul has been able to make Chioma see herself in that relationship. Chioma looks like the sort of woman that is filled with so much confidence. She exudes so much confidence. So for her to now make that decision all because of Paul, it goes to show the kind of conversations, the kind of perception, the kind of treatment that she has been getting in that kind of relationship. I feel like at that point in time, Chioma's confidence level was 0 to nothing. But let's go back to Paul, guys. To be honest, what Paul did, his role in Chioma having an abortion, guys, that was just extremely selfish. Extremely selfish. And it is something that a lot of men do today. I have heard stories of how men would tell their girlfriends, oh no, I'm not ready to be a father, oh, don't get pregnant for me, oh. Guys, please ignore that generator noise, please. They will say, oh, they're not ready to be a father. At the end of the day, the moment that girl does an abortion, you will see them running to go and marry somebody else. And that other person is going to have kids for them. Can Thunder start locating all these men and firing them one after the other wherever they are? When Denise now asked Paul for his own version of what really happened, guys, I was extremely, once again, irritated, because Paul tried to paint it to look like, oh, they did something that never should have happened. So according to him, oh, it happened on a wild night, they were extremely drunk, they were out of their senses, and then they went on a rampage of, having sex several times. And God, disgustingly, he said they did 7 to 8 rounds. That was an information we're not supposed to know about. My God, I know that it's therapy, but we were not supposed to know that information. And then you're coming to tell the public on TV that, oh, that's something that on a normal day we do not do. And so it is not our business. We do not want to know that part. Like, you're trying to tell the whole world, or you actually did, that, oh, you and Chioma engaged in sex several times, 7 to 8 rounds, before she finally conceived, before she finally got pregnant. And then he said that, oh, it was a mutual decision, it was a mutual agreement, omitting the fact that he made those threats to Chioma, that if she went ahead to keep the pregnancy and had the baby, then he would not be there for them as a father and her partner or a husband. Paul! And guys, don't get me wrong, I am not blaming Chioma for having an abortion, because I understand that a lot of times a lot of women have to make that decision for themselves, or a lot of women have to go through that. Not because they do not like the idea of having a child, although some people are very, very selfish, but sometimes because they are afraid of being single moms. We understand the stereotype, against single moms in the society, the world over. We understand the struggles of being a single mother. We understand the stress. We understand all the wahala that comes with it. And we also understand that there's also the part of finances. If you cannot take care of a baby, why bring the baby into the world? Your baby should be comfortable. Your baby should be happy. Your baby should not be made to suffer for all your poor decisions in life and all your sins in life. So I understand Chioma's fears. However, in that scenario, both of them are to blame. Both of them are to blame. I cannot say that, oh, it was Paul that caused it. I mean, there's always that person that would try to push you into the wrong direction, but then you also owe it to yourself as an adult or as an individual that is mature to make the right decisions for yourself. People can only advise you. People can only say things to you. Whatever you do with their advice, it is now left to you. It is your prerogative. And I feel like Chioma did what she did based on our own choices. She had a choice. She could have kept the pregnancy, but no, she went ahead to remove it. So in that situation, both of them are at fault. So for me, Chioma throwing all 10 fingers, pointing right at Paul, saying that Paul is the reason, that is unacceptable to me. Then the other part that was very, very hilarious, that actually, because the part about the pregnancy, that was the part that got me crying and upset. The part that now filled me with rage was when at the beginning of the session, Paul's sister showed up. And I'm like, biatch, what the hell are you doing there? Like, hey God, guys, I don't even understand how Chioma and Deborah are so calm and poised. Guys, me, myself, I can be very, very classy, but there are some situations that the ratchet part of me needs to just come out and show its ugly head. Listen, Paul's sister, that is part of the problems that Chioma and Paul are having, showing up at their session, for me, that was the height of disrespect. It just goes to show that Paul does not rate Chioma at all. And then his flimsy excuse to Denise was that, after the last session that they had, Chioma left home for 1 week. He did not see her. She did not call. She did not say anything. And so he decided to call his sister to come to therapy. Like, man, dude, brav, whatever. Don't you understand that therapy between you and your woman is a private session? Your family member, even your father or your mother, they have no right to be there. You guys were there to trash out your issues, and then you go ahead to bring one of the bringer of problems in your relationship. Like, how? But you see, that poor guy, that guy has issues. When I did my last video telling you guys that Paul is a typical African egoistic man, a lot of people thought that, Gloria, generalizing, that's a stereotype. What freaking stereotype? It's something that still exists till today. Now, listen to Paul. According to him, they had a session. Chioma was upset. She left the house. Chioma, where did you go? Where were you? Chioma said that I was at my sister's house. What were you doing there? I was doing what any other sister would do in her sister's house. And then Paul went like, she went on Instagram. She was enjoying herself. She was living her best life. She was doing all manner of things. Why should I message her about what the situation is? She has to come back home and know the situation for herself. I said, bam, Paul, you are raving mad. Mad on all levels. At the end of the day, it was quite heartwarming to see that Paul realized how hurt Chioma was about the whole situation. She wasn't even hurt about the fact that, she did the abortion, about the other things. What really upset her, and what has been a build-up into informing her attitude towards Paul during the sessions, was because ever since it happened, for over 6 months, they never talked about it. Paul never brought it up. Paul never apologized to her, and that created a wound that had been festering in her heart, in their relationship for the longest of time. And that, guys, that is one thing about communicating in relationships. When things are not said, when hurts are not trashed out, when issues are not trashed out, when they are left to fester, it becomes a big gash of wound that cannot be easily covered up again. And even though that wound is going to start healing, it's going to take a longer period of time to heal than the period of time it took to be inflicted in that relationship. And that is exactly what happened between Paul and Chioma. But the beauty about it is they kissed, they hugged, and they made up. And guys, hopefully let us see how their relationship is going to be. But I'm excited also about Chioma's attitude, the way she kicked Paul's sister out, because hey, the woman had to go. She has to go and face her own family and her own life. Let her leave her brother, but she wants to marry Paul. Like, I don't understand. Moving on to Deborah and Jamel's relationship, guys. You know the way it was exciting me. You know, every time Jamal says on the show, am I stuttering? I'm like, bruh, calm down with your authoritativeness. Why are you going at my sister like this? All of a sudden, Jamal was taking 1 million years to open his mouth and confess to Deborah. But guys, I must give it to Deborah. Deborah is truly a classy lady, and that was what really confirmed what I said when I analyzed their personalities. Deborah is so classy, and that's one reason I love her so much. I love her personality, I love her comportment, I love the way she carries herself. If it was me, the slap that Jamal would have chopped, because Jamal completely made Deborah look like a mad woman. That was exactly what she said, and that was exactly the way I saw it. Oh, she's always stalking me. If I go to my friend's house, she's gonna show up. Oh, she did this, she did that. She's too expensive. She's too materialistic. She likes expensive things. She's a shallow-minded person. Like, guys, Jamal completely made Deborah look like the bad and evil person in the relationship. He completely made it look like all those things that Deborah was doing, always calling to check up on him, always wanting to see his phone. He made it look as if she was completely insecure. This same dude had spent 4 freaking hours, 4 hours in their car with his ex, whom Deborah had agreed for him to train personally, just because she felt like Jamal's ex was a nice person. They've even been going ahead to do Zoom calls, friendly calls. They've been even cool with each other. But then Jamal had the temerity to go ahead and cheat on Deborah in the car with his ex. Where is my machete? Where is my machete? Guys, like, can you imagine that? Can you imagine that? Listen, the way people had castigated and dragged Deborah on social media over the show, which we're not even sure is even realistic, guys, it's been so pathetic. It's been so pathetic, making it look like a woman does not have a right to enjoy the finer things of life, making it look like, oh, a woman does not have the right to want to be treated as a queen or a princess. And then Jamal made it look like, oh, I am dating an empty barrel. I'm dating a shallow-minded woman. I am dating a child who is very, very insecure and does not understand how to be in a relationship. Whereas dude confessed in the last episode that it was because of the cheating act that he had done against Deborah with his ex that he brought Deborah to therapy to break the news to her so that the therapist can help them to manage the situation. But then they came to therapy and dude was bringing different stupid complaints, like rubbish, like that guy. I wish I could insult him in Yoruba, but I cannot. Calm down, Glory. Calm down, Glory. Listen, guys, I just need to give a huge thumbs up to Deborah. That lady is filled with class. She needs to move on with her life. She would definitely meet a man that is going to give her all those things that she deserves, and she's going to definitely meet a man that's going to be loyal to her. Her trust issues with Jamal was never ever misplaced. Jamal was the insecure idiot. And guys, it was one stupid statement that Jamal made, when Deborah asked him, why did you cheat on me with your ex, knowing fully well that I am cool with your ex? Is it that I am a bad person? What exactly did I do? And then he made the stupid statement that different men, in fact all men on a normal day would say, no, babe, it's not about you. It wasn't about you. It was me. That statement that Jamal made, it completely made me remember my own experience with a certain guy that I was so in love with. That was in 2017 or thereabout, yes. So I met this guy, I think 2018. I met this guy. I was so in love with this guy, and when he started giving me the cold shoulder, I decided to go and meet with him one-on-one again. We had hung out and I was head over heels in love with this guy. So I went to meet with him in his friend's house. That was very late, about 10 p.m.-ish in the evening. So I went and I was opening my heart to this guy. I was telling this guy, oh my God, I really like you. I want us to be together. I don't mind. It doesn't have to be marriage. I just want to be with you. This guy used me shine, everything, every. And so he refused, like, hey, I cannot have a commitment with you, blah, blah, blah. I said, okay. That was how I got home that night. I cried myself to sleep for days. I was miserable. And then on one of those days, I went out. I went clubbing with a group of friends, and this guy came, because he was dating a friend to the boyfriend to my friend as at that time. And this guy came to the club. Guess what? This guy was at the club with another girlfriend, and this girlfriend's name, lo and behold, was Glory. I said, this guy, you are mad. You are cursed. You do not even know you are cursed. You are cursed. There's swear for you. Like, guys, how can you tell me you do not want me and then you go ahead to meet another girl who is bearing the same name as me, Glory? And guys, you see how the universe works. You see how God works. That was how I met my love that very night. The man who I am, like, who I so much love this day. That was how I met him that same night. And guess what? This man I met, he's bearing the same name with the fool that told me, nah, we cannot be together. And then guys, fast forward to years later. 3 years later, this guy has been keeping in touch. He has been like, oh, what's up? We should hang out. And every time he says we should hang out, I'm like, oh, dude, I'm actually busy. I'm doing stuff. You know, we've never really hung out. But he has been keeping in touch. And me too. Okay, I've been indulging him, receiving his calls and all of that. Not because I am interested, but because I want to see where the whole thing was leading to. And all this gist that's happening, sometimes I will be sharing it with my man. So finally, we were now able to talk early this year. And I asked him the same question that Deborah asked Jamal. I said, why did you do what you did? That as if he wanted to even kill me more. You knew how much affection I had for you. And then you went ahead to bring another girl to that gathering, knowing fully well I will be there. You brought another girl. You went to date another girl that is bearing the same name as me. Why? And guess what this dude said? No, it's not about you. Because I was telling him that, look, you made me feel like I wasn't good enough. You made me feel like I wasn't beautiful. You made me feel like I was not just up to the standard of the kind of girl you would date. And he was like, no, it's not about you. It's about me. It's me. I don't know what's wrong with me. I don't know why I did what I did. And guys, that is one of the tricks that men play with women. When they cheat on you, when they hurt you, they would not tell you it is your fault, because of course they want to play the knight in shiny armor despite their mess. So they will take the blame upon themselves so that they will look, you know, sorry to you, and then you're not like, oh my God, let me just forgive him. After all, he took the blame on himself. Ladies, do not ever fall for that. Do not ever fall for that, because trust me, after taking the blame, they will brush up themselves, pick themselves up again, not like they were even thrown on the floor before. They will go back to their mess and they will go and lick their mess again. So that is the same circle that happens over and over and over again. Except you meet a guy who is, you know, spitted out of the heavens directly into your laps. Maybe you escaped that, how do I call it, that despicable nature of men. But ladies, don't ever fall for those lines. Listen, at the end of the day, the two people whom we thought that their relationship would be completely shattered on the show, that's Chioma and Paul, they cemented their relationship and they kissed and made up. But then Jamal and Deborah's own resolution was, there is nothing, that she does not think there's anything that would even make her want to be with Jamal again. She would have to have a long think about it. But guys, the good news is, there are more episodes of Blue Therapy. It's called Blue Therapy, The Aftermath. And guys, that one is bomb. I'm going to definitely bring you guys juicy details and analysis of those ones and let you guys know how it goes. The Aftermath of Blue Therapy is all about how these couples are able to handle their situation after the therapy session. This time around, they will be talking to a Black woman. Okay, so stay tuned to my channel. If you enjoyed this review, please give this video a huge thumbs up and feel free to share this video to any social media platform that you operate from, and I will very much appreciate it. Don't forget to check out my merch store in the description box. Subscribe to my channel. Turn on post notification for more amazing and juicy reviews like these. I run commentaries, analysis, and reviews on my YouTube channel. And that's basically all for this particular episode of Frankly Speaking with Glory. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you all on tomorrow's YouTube live stream. Remember, tomorrow's YouTube live stream is going to happen 3 p.m. WAT or 1500 West African time. Do not miss out. It promises to be quite entertaining. We will be talking about some juicy things, and I'm sure you do not want to miss out. That said, have an amazing TGIF. Bye.